Autism affects the processing of information in the brain by affecting the way nerve impulses connect. Autism is typically diagnosed in the first few years of a child's life, and it affects the social, language, and behavioral aspects of that child. Thus far, autism is a genetic disorder, although it's unclear on whether it's a rare mutation or different genetic variants that cause it. There are also claims that environmental toxins like heavy metals, pesticides, or vaccines can cause autism, but all that evidence is very unclear as of now. There are many telltale signs that a child has autism, and these are usually diagnosed in the first few years of that child's life. These include, but aren't limited to, poor eye contact, resorting to their own world. They don't respond to social cues like facial expressions or tone of voice. They typically can lack empathy. They speak at abnormal tones or rhythms. They have trouble starting and maintaining a conversation, and they can develop specific routines. They may be fascinated by parts of an object and may move constantly. After reviewing the teaching techniques that can help autistic students, I've developed 4 ways that we can utilize these in the FFA setting of agriculture education. Those go as follows. The first one is to create a storyboard of FFA activities by category. Now, before you get a student involved in the FFA who's autistic, you want to make sure that they are clear of all the expectations and everything that really goes on in the FFA world. And so creating maybe a trifold storyboard with felt on the back and lots of colors, they can organize the different activities that they can get involved in a very systematic and organized way. So maybe they can organize it by individual assignments or individual activities, group settings, individual competitions, team competitions, etc. So they really have a clear layout of what the FFA is about and what things they can get involved in. The second one is to have a procedure for them when they go to an FFA meeting. So before they get involved in FFA, they're going to want to go to a chapter meeting. And a lot of times chapter meetings can be loud, chaotic, full of interactions, and this can kind of push away those autistic students. And so what I would do if I had an autistic student is I would sit them down and give them a step-by-step expectations and roles sheet for how to behave and how to act and what's going to happen at the FFA meeting. I can give them advice like, okay, sit at the front of the row, sit at the front of the meeting, make sure you stay quiet when the chapter officers speak, etc. And really use those teaching techniques that they mentioned in the PowerPoint, but in an FFA setting. My third suggestion is to help them do a prepared public speaking contest. Autistic students are often interested in a particular category, and I would maybe encourage them to write a speech about it and memorize it. Now, it's probably not going to be ag-related, but that's okay. It's a start, and they can kind of get involved and even compete at the chapter level. The last one is to assign individual roles for committee work. Committees are a great way to get those shy students involved, and specifically for autistic students. It's a very low-risk environment, and so having them in a committee work can be a really good way to get involved in FFA. And in order to do that, I would have a very clear set of expectations and the role that they would play in the committee. So those are a few ways that I would help students get involved in FFA if they're autistic.